everybody? Welcome to Backfield Breakdowns, the podcast where we will decide how much has Justin had to drink tonight. Who knows? Maybe he'll tell you later. Tonight, I am here with Blake again and a special guest, Ben. How you doing, Ben?
Hating my life like I do every week because I'm a Browns fan, but that has not changed in over 15 years, and I don't think it's going to anytime soon.
Deshaun feels for you.
I don't feel for Deshaun. I do not. I want that on record.
I think the issue is he was trying to get people to feel him.
Absolutely.
So just like last week, Blake, what are you drinking tonight?
Another Texas local. Tastes like chicken vodka.
But does it actually taste like chicken?
No, it tastes like cheap vodka.
Then they're doing it wrong. They got the name wrong. You had one job.
It comes with a fancy sticker. You can get two for 2 half gallons for the price of 1 half gallon of Tito's.
That
makes
is
me sad.
the Orloff of Texas. Ben,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah.
drinking tonight? Hopefully it's better than the Orloff of Texas.
It's not. And
Oh.
I am going to say that ahead of time because I know it's not, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm still drinking it. We're going with the old classic. We're going with the Bud Light. And
boy.
not just any Bud Light, but the 25ers. Because I'm not going with the little boys. That's too easy.
I am
You didn't, did
drinking
you?
Resin Double IPA. And it doesn't taste good. We want to also know what you're drinking tonight. Please put it down in the comments. Please. I gotta say, a couple of crazy games. First off, the background. For those of you just listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or Apple, that's right, more platforms. The background says, "Where's Aaron Rodgers?"
New York doesn't know. I'll tell you that much. They have no idea where he is.
Yeah, you know what?
Especially after paying him.
I almost put a hat on him, but then I was like, I don't know. It's not winter yet. The score was 10-9, and no, it was not a Jets win. It was a Broncos win. We're honest on this podcast. Did either of you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I was at work and I was following along like the live updates. I remember seeing the absolutely terrible halftime report of how Bo Nix did, and I thought it was a joke. And then I got so heavily involved that I was like, this might be the greatest game of our generation, especially if he continues to go negative.
For those of you who don't know or didn't watch, that's 12 completions, 12 for 25, 60 yards, and a touchdown. No,
He was
picks.
negative at half, wasn't he?
Yeah,
it was
-7. He had
I also
3
didn't watch it.
completions for -7 yards. I can't remember the names of the players, but one of them had -3, I think, and one of them had -4, and they each had 1 reception. And Cortland Sutton had
Oh,
3 receptions for 60 yards.
for 60
and like
and
you
a
said,
touchdown.
Bo Nix had 60 yards.
Jared Goff had more reception yards than some of those receivers this week. That in itself sounds like an Onion article that you would read and you would be like, no, that doesn't happen. That's not true. But no, that was this week in the NFL.
Speaking of Jared Goff, didn't he just break a record?
He was perfect.
Yeah,
Last week.
wasn't it like first 18, like 18 for 18 or something like that?
I want to say 16 for 16. Let's see.
I feel like it's 18.
How many yards did he have?
Oh, yep.
It was
No,
like
you're right. 18 for 18.
More than 60.
200,
240, I think.
292
Oh,
and a
that's it. Okay.
touchdown. But what's even more crazy is Amra St. Brown, 1 for 1, 7 yards, and a touchdown.
More than most of the New York Jets.
More than most of the rookie quarterbacks in the NFL.
More than the Jets, more than the Broncos who won, more than who knows how many teams.
It sounds ridiculous. It's been a whole sort of thing with
Kind of
the way
feels like it's
changing.
anyone's game right now. Like,
It
I wouldn't
really
be
is.
surprised if the Jaguars came back and were made a deep playoff run or something. Like, nobody knows.
I think we all know the Jaguars aren't doing anything. The only thing they
don't
have
think they know
going
what
for
they're
them
doing.
is Trevor Lawrence and his hair.
And I dropped him in fantasy because I thought him and his luxurious hair would save me, and that has not been the case.
Basically, the last two things I have to say about the whole Jets Broncos boring ass game
You mean
is,
the greatest game of our generation?
you know what? It might just be. Aaron Rodgers had no touchdowns. He had no interceptions. That's great, but 24 for 42, 225. That's more than most quarterbacks this year can throw in a single game. He's still connecting with Alan Lazard for 58, and Mike Williams getting back into the mix, but he didn't look like Aaron Rodgers. He looked like this guy behind me.
He got sacked 5 times. Yeah.
Oh, don't get me going about offensive lines.
Anything you guys want to add to this game?
I think that honestly, this game for me is so far the perfect representation of just what the fuck is this season.
I would like to add just for a minute, everybody remember week 1. Sorry, you two weren't involved, but we said that Bo Nix was the guy. And you know what? He's still the guy.
You know what you also said? You also said that it was Tua time and that Tua was going to lead the league.
That is when I found out that we curse people on this podcast. And well, we'll get to one of the curses in a little bit. We'll get to one of the
That's
curses
me.
in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, one of them has to do with one of my boys over in Arizona, but that's okay. Moving on. Blake, I mean, your guy is just tearing it up in the backfield this year.
Cooking.
No comment.
Straight cooking.
No comment.
To me, that was
Wasn't
the
it,
game of the week. Your first play of the game, just I think it was an 87-yard rush. And
Must be nice.
oh man, Lamar did good. Derrick Henry did good. It's been a slow season for
I don't want to hear that.
for Zay Flowers. The same goes for Mark Andrews. And I talked about him a little bit last week and how he's more of a lineman, but there was all 3 of their biggest plays were pretty much because of a block by Mark Andrews. So him not being more of a receiver this year is still benefiting them because they've kind of switched to a very run-heavy offense. And
Yeah, well,
that's
you know
why you're
what?
seeing Zay have a slower season and him, but he's still being a playmaker in the sense that, I mean, that Derrick Henry run, to be specific, he blocked the corner. And I think it was Justice Hill had a crucial 3rd down, and he got it because of Mark Andrews. 3 big plays he was in just blocking. And a lot of people don't notice that. It's nice because I'm a Ravens fan to see them get wins. Their offense has been on fire. It's their defense that's kind of cost them the 1 game by a pinky toe and 1 game by a field goal. So they should be 4 now.
They should be 0-4.
No.
But that's just my
But yeah, I think it sucks to see Mark Andrews kind of slip, but it's still nice to see the Ravens offense dominating, and he's a big part of it still.
Blake, next week, I'm pretty sure the Bengals play the Ravens.
I believe so, yeah.
And that is kind of the game for the Bengals this season.
It's in Cincinnati too. So
If
Yeah, I
they
think so.
win, things are looking okay. If they lose, you could call the season dead in the water, probably.
It will be kind of hard to catch up at that point if they lose another one.
If the Ravens lose, though, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think they'll be okay.
no.
No.
The Ravens have had already a decent start.
They'll be fine. But the Bengals, it's already looking bad. I mean, for one, again with Jamar, and then two again with Jamar. He got asked about baby oil this week in the locker room. What's next?
The baby oil. It's been a that was a talking point of mine, but
Oh shoot.
not in that sense, which is the worst part. But
Oh damn. So, what about the Cardinals?
I
What
feel like the Cardinals are back to being the Cardinals.
back to
They're
rebuilding?
they're just a team. The worst part is I feel they have these keys that should lead to success in the long run. Right now, they're just what in the world is going on?
I feel like their offense is definitely there, if not just about there. Their defense is still a little weak, but I'd put them in between 15 and 20 rank this year.
The good takeaways is that James Conner still has it. I mean, there's always doubters every year, but then there's so many people who say,
That's
"Oh
me.
no, he's still got it." No, no, he's still doing pretty good.
He's the one person that I always expect. We'll say first half to be safe, but within the very early part of the first half of the season, I am just so used to hearing, "Oh, he's injured and out for the season." That the fact that he is still
Absolutely.
going right now, I am genuinely shocked. I'm not saying what's wrong with these defenses for not taking him out or anything, but at the same time, somehow this man has survived this many games. This may be the greatest season of his life because maybe he's going to make it 10 games this season.
I think the Cardinals will be about a 10 to 12 win team this season.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, especially offensively. I'm happy to see we have Kyler back. I feel like people have just kind of immediately, because he had to miss one season, just immediately shut him out. Where I'm like, have we forgotten what he's done in the past?
It was
Like,
the maturity concerns. It was something like he didn't watch any tape or
oh
really
my,
do practice or whatever, and then all he did was play blank, like Call of Duty or something like that. That was the
I hear
rumblings.
that, and I wish that was the case in Cleveland. The fact that we had Johnny Football, who they gave a blank tape and sent him home and said, "Hey, we need you to watch this and review it when you come back." And then he came back and was like, "Yeah, I understand all of it. Oh, absolutely." And there's nothing on it. The fact that they're like, their main concern is he's playing Call of Duty. I wish it was that simple in Cleveland at times.
Honestly, my main concern from the entire game was Kyler, let's throw to my boy a little more. Who? You know, Blake.
Mm.
Marvin fucking Harrison
Junior.
Jr. He's got to throw
Junior.
to him a little more. Blake, does this mean anything for the Cardinals?
I think they're going to be that weird team that they're going to win the games they shouldn't and lose the lose the
Honestly,
games they
that's
should
yeah.
win.
fair.
I
That
think
is
they're going to
entirely
be.
fair.
I think they're going to click every now and then,
Yep.
and their defense will be on certain nights. I think they'll win a little bit more than they lose, but not by much. That's why I say 10 to 12, a little over 50% this year. I think is where they'll end up.
The one thing that I've written down about Washington, we covered it last week, Blake. Daniels is the guy.
He's
He's
their boy.
the best quarterback in the class. This week he proved it. I think the questions are gone. Caleb Williams did
He's
well, not like Daniels did. And we did mention that kind of competition for this week. Could he do it? Could he not do it? And he delivered.
He's thrown 86 or 82% this season.
Jaden Daniels, I feel, was the one quarterback flat out in this draft that I had no doubt, even though clearly he was going to one of the worst teams from the last year. I feel like he has shut people up and been like, I should have been the number one. I clearly was the number one. You chose wrong.
Yeah.
And he has gone into every single game wanting to prove that.
And the crazy part is, personnel-wise, aren't one of the worst teams. It's only going to get better because Austin Eckler is, I'm pretty sure, due back this week. I don't really know if he's number one or number two, but the way Brian Robertson Jr. has been playing, he should be number two.
Great. He had 21 carries, I think, for a little over 100 yards. Washington they probably won the offseason, I feel like, more than most teams.
Oh, absolutely.
In my opinion, they are one good wide receiver away from being a year-by-year competitor. And you know who that guy's going to be? Are you ready?
Oh, God.
Are you both ready? Are you ready, audience?
I'm not at all.
Requested a trade, Devontae Adams. That's the guy. Washington has enough assets. Get him. Go get him.
No matter what, he's always going to ask for a trade, and it doesn't matter where he's going to go. I don't think there's any winning for him.
The Jets.
He's not going to be happy if he goes to the Jets. It doesn't matter who he goes to.
Aaron Rodgers.
Where is Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Where is he?
Nobody knows. We're about to launch a full-blown investigation. This is a Scooby-Doo mystery. And the Aaron Rodgers we know and see, they're going to pull off that mask, and it's going to be like...
It's the creeper. They're pulling off the mask.
No, Deshaun is still playing in Cleveland. So.
Oh, that's the creeper. Oh, gotcha. Since you happen to say investigation, that kind of that kind of puts a really cheesy transition into my next thing, man. And that's I'm putting an APB out on Kyle Pitts.
I have very strong opinions on that man.
I only know about this because he's on the fantasy team, but he played 38 snaps this week. That's
more than I thought.
That's a large amount. No targets, no catches. But his snaps keep falling. 54 in week 1, where he had a pretty good performance, and now 38, and you are putting your hands on your cheeks like Macaulay Culkin, and I don't like it.
I would have bet anything before this season started that he was not going to do a single thing. And I will tell you, I would put money on it that by the end of the season, he is going to be irrelevant. If we think about it, look at any tight end in general. Tight ends have not been crazy in the last few years. I feel like he was from day one set up for failure. He is not going to do a single thing. And people are going to act all surprised by it. And I'm like, when has he done anything?
So that brings a question for you, Blake. Does his whole performance, particularly in this game, tell us anything about the coach, Kirko, or both?
I don't honestly know enough about him as a player to really make a good assessment on him.
No?
I've never really followed his career.
Could the chemistry just not be there with Cousins? And then in turn, Pitts is playing less snaps?
I think it's always different with a new quarterback.
Right.
It's a league of tight ends, and they're all starting to shine, but I feel like people are expecting more receiving tight ends than they are like blocking tight ends. I feel like people underestimate the importance of how good of a blocker does your tight end need to be. Usually he's the difference between a 5-yard run and a first down, because he's blocking that last outside, either linebacker or cornerback or even the safety sometimes. He's your last one getting you that last key block so that you're free in the end of the field. And so I feel like he's kind of been doing the same thing as Mark Andrews. He's playing a little bit more of offensive lineman this year than receiver.
Where is Aaron Rodgers?
Are we sure that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have glaucoma or something? Because at this point, it doesn't seem like he knows what's going
No.
on.
Wait a minute. No, man, hold on. Aaron Rodgers can see better than anybody. It's all the ayahuasca that he's been consuming that lets him see clearly, okay? Like like a man who's just been sitting back and just enjoying some tea. I want to hear from you. What do you have to say, man? What do you talk about it?
Oh man, I don't know everything. Let's do top five. Let's do top five. I'm excited.
Right, yes. Let's do top five. We're gonna push it off to you first. What's the top five, man?
Me?
And who do you got?
All right, so this week I have top five current defensive players. So this season, who I think are the top five players so far.
And I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Does
You might
hold
be
on
right.
just before you start, because of what has recently taken place in the NFL, the injuries affect these players.
Yes. There is a
Fuck.
player.
All right.
There is a player who would probably be on there if it weren't for Thursday's game. When did they play? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Do I? The world may never know.
Get well soon, Micah Parsons.
Come back to us.
Number five, who you got?
My boy Kyle Hamilton, Ravens. He's been a great asset. A lot of key plays for their win against the Bills.
For their win against the Chicago Bulls. Their offseason is not doing good. They lost Jordan, and it's been all downhill since there.
So, as far as that pick goes, Blake, let me get you a pen and paper because I wrote you Slim, but you still ain't calling. Am I gonna cut that? Fuck no. People can groan and feel secondhand embarrassment all they want. I'm okay with it.
We're going to clip that and post it all over Twitter.
Oh, it'll be a reel for sure.
I got you covered. Brown's Twitter, where are you at?
Perfect. Number
Hashtag D4L.
Number 4, Max Crosby. Love his backstory. Such an aggressive player. Really got a fire under his ass. Always fun to watch.
Who you got at number 3, man?
I have Nick Bosa.
Yes. That's nothing else to say about Nick Bosa.
That's it.
I don't need to.
Yes.
That's all you need to do.
The name says it all, folks. Number 2.
Number 2, I got Myles Garrett. I couldn't imagine a scarier player coming after me.
I'm already upset that he's number 1, but
Number
we
2.
will leave it at that.
Look out for his
See, number 2.
helmet-wielding
Number 2.
skills. That man will hit you.
I don't even want to get going on that. He deserved it.
Number 1.
Number 1, this season specifically, I got to say TJ Watt is just playing incredibly.
Yeah.
I
been super
literally
good
just
every
about
game.
threw my headset down and walked off. No. No. I will argue this to the end of time. No.
This season specifically, though,
No.
not all time. He's having a great season.
Yeah. How many
No
times
one.
does that man jump off sides and refs don't call it?
It's not even that. Like the first game I noticed.
Does it? Hold on. No. Look at the amount of times that man jumps off sides and no one says anything. And then look at the amount of times Myles Garrett gets tackled, and that's totally fine. And they will do whatever to him, and it's totally fine.
I think that I'm going to defend you, and I'm going to say
No,
to
you're not.
everybody, guys, Ben
No.
has some internal thoughts and some internal struggle.
I wish
Because
that
frankly,
Myles
his
Garrett
top
hit
5
him with a helmet.
His top 5 has a lot to deal with internal struggle. What's your top 5, man? Tell them.
My top 5 reasons as to why fantasy football makes me hate my life. Number 1, I'm still a Cleveland fan, and that always will cloud my judgment. Number 2, the fact that people think Kyle Pitts is always going to be a great choice of fantasy.
Number 3,
The Slim Shady era of Joe Burrow might be one of my favorite things right now.
No.
Number two, I don't think tight ends exist this year, which makes me also hate my life in fantasy because
Absolutely.
nobody as a tight end is doing anything right now. So I wasted a pick on a tight end, and they're not doing anything. The fact that Jared Goff has more touchdowns receiving than like most tight ends in the entire league, what is happening? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I never will.
Excuse me, everybody. I'm sorry. I've lost count because alcohol. Number one? Is that where we're at? Number one?
Number one, I hate Sundays now because I know I'm going to look at my fantasy team and just hate my life. We have Sam Darnold putting up absolute numbers when Aaron Rodgers is nowhere to be found and the Scooby-Doo mystery team can't figure out where in the hell he went. That nobody knows what's happening.
And my top five for the week, that's why I had Ben go second, because my top five of the week
was my top five.
Well, is just kind of serious. It's not really fun. It's a little boring. Top five running backs right now. I guess officially that means this season, number five. And it doesn't matter what team you're on, DeAndre Swift. Not being used enough. Great running back.
More.
You saw it. What in the hell? What are we doing?
Had a good game.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
He's a great running back, and he honestly, every time I look, I'm like, why are they not using him?
Exactly. Number four, even though he's injured, and even though I hate them, even though Kermit Mahomes is the damn quarterback, Isaiah Pacheco.
But it's okay. They have Kareem Hunt.
Exactly. The wife beater himself.
We don't talk about that.
No,
similar
we don't need
to how
to. We don't
talk about
Deshaun's
past.
On this podcast, we're not political whatsoever. Isaiah Pacheco, number four.
Ray Rice. I'm sorry, Isaiah Pacheco. Anyways.
You know, I've heard that Ray Rice really slaps way better than Will Smith. Anyways, number three.
I've seen the video. Sorry.
Wait,
anyways,
number four. We're at number three. Right. Sorry, my off-color commentary had me guessing. Number three, we're gonna go with Bucky. Nope, sorry, just kidding. I love you, Bucky, but no, it's not you. Number three is going to be the guy over in Baltimore, Derrick Henry. He's still got it. He's not number one, and you know what? You don't have to agree. Number two, over in LA, we've got Kyron Williams. Is that Kenrich? Whatever the fuck his name is? Hold on, let me pull up Google, and then I'll cut it, because I don't know. It is Kyron. There we go. Shit, what number was I on? Damn it. Was I on number two?
Fuck, where am I?
Was I on number two? I think I was on number two. You know what? I'll edit.
Pretty sure it's two,
and if
yeah.
it's weird, I'll just put some text up. It'll be fine.
Number two.
Number two. Hopefully. Kyron Williams of the Rams. He's a really good player. There's not really much I could say because the Rams aren't really doing much. But
existing.
Number one, and no, it's not McCaffrey. It is not Christian McCaffrey. I'm sorry, everybody.
He's not a thing right now.
He's not. He's not a thing at all. Fuck. Right. Okay.
Number one, Lamar.
Wait, hold on. Number one is Jonathan Taylor. And I know, and people could be like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's shown that he's got it every game. And he's also shown that when Anthony Richardson has a moment where he can't play, he can also pick up the slack. But shout out Joe Flacco for doing so good. We got more Flacco Flash going on.
I miss you, buddy. Please come back to Cleveland.
There's a guy over in another league called, what's his name there? Ben DiNucci. Man, just
Don't
trade.
even get me going about
Just
Danucci.
trade. Just make
I
a trade
know
and then
that you
sign Ben
love
DiNucci.
Danucci. It's not happening.
Ben DiNucci is a savior. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? Yeah, we're gonna have moments like this on every podcast where I ask Jerry personally because no, he's not gonna
I'll
watch it,
tag
but
him on
I can
Twitter
certainly
for you.
hope so. Hey, Jerry, how you doing, bud? Can you please sign Ben DiNucci? Because clearly
I'll
he's
tag
gonna
him
be
on
better
Twitter
than
for
Dak
you.
right now. Please, thank you.
They gave Dak all that money though.
I don't care that they gave Dak all that money. They could have gone out and signed anybody, gotten
They
rid
could
of
have
Dak.
gotten Danucci 24 times over.
Yeah. But that's okay. Honestly, you know who's coming to Dallas? He's grumpy. He's crotchety.
So
He
that's when am I
doesn't
going to
wear
Dallas?
anything with sleeves. Bill Belichick is coming to Dallas. We all know.
Oh,
All right. What do you think? You guys have just let me go for it because of my amount of notes.
I
Oh,
do have one thing. The Chicago Bears, even though they went out, they got the number one pick, their offensive line is non-existent. They just cannot stand up or do anything because within the first 2 seconds of the play starting, they're all on the ground. Their quarterback is running around and or already sacked, and that's the end of the play. I feel so terrible for Williams trying to go into a terrible situation in Chicago where people are expecting, oh, we're just going to insert you as number one. You're going to fix everything when he has an offensive line that can't even stand up for 2 to 3 seconds and they're already down and they're expecting him to fix everything.
Blake's got some thoughts about Chicago. I'm starting to get on board. They've got some weapons in Chicago.
But they don't have an offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think about
That's
that,
what's
man?
killing them.
Like, do you think that's a big factor?
Yeah, I think it really. I mean, Caleb Williams is just running for his life.
At least he's shown that he can run against an NFL defense. That's pretty good. Like, we're pretty sure I said that last week, but still, it's a good thing that he can. So, any sort of talking point you want to do really quick?
Yeah, the Chiefs. Travis Kelce's not doing much. Patrick Mahomes had a terrible series of events. Just a bad decision, tried to get the pick six, ended up running into his own guy and injuring that guy.
That was unfortunate.
Maybe Ryan Tannehill gets a call and he'll catch balls for them.
I mean, he'll do better than most tight ends in the league
I mean,
right now.
I'm on the Ryan Tannehill train for any job he can get. Make him a ball boy.
A lot of people are saying Miami should call him.
I think Carolina should call him.
Yes. No.
I mean, Andy Dalton's doing great. Why call him?
That red rifle is going to do fantastic the rest of the year.
Yeah.
That's
If Carolina ends with more than 4 wins this year, I am going to be genuinely shocked.
6.
You 6? What is
6.
wrong with you?
6.
No. Not
As
a
far as-
absolute chance.
One of my NFL predictions had them at 6 wins to finish the year.
If Carolina gets more than 6 wins this year, if they get 6 or more, I will even put it at that. If Carolina gets 6 or more wins, I will tattoo their logo on me and put "I was wrong."
You heard it here first, folks.
You do understand that I'm going to clip this.
Oh
Clip
no,
this-
I'm
Oh,
well
no.
aware.
I'm going to clip this and I'm going to send it to the fantasy group.
Oh, I'm aware.
All
Please
right,
do.
good, because it's happening.
Lexi
Oh.
already walked into the room and said, "No, you're not doing that," and she just doesn't know. Yes, it's happening because the thing is, Carolina is not getting 6 or more wins. Carolina is not doing anything this season. It's just not happening.
Carolina now, just so you know.
This man's like, I'm buying a Carolina jersey.
Yeah,
I'm
we
going to
need-
fly out to their next game.
I got to make a Twitter account just for this week. Chubba, buddy, keep going because Ben has to get a tattoo. So I'm going to shout out Bangor Bill for just a minute.
Bangor Bill, I love you, buddy. Shout
Bangor Bill,
outs.
please, when Ben ends up losing this bet, please
I'll see him
tattoo
tomorrow.
that tattoo on him for free.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm not gonna be wrong because Carolina sucks. So I think I'm in the clear here.
Folks, we might not have really covered the games the previous week, but we're hoping that you watched football because you know what? If you like this podcast, you probably like the NFL, and it's your job to watch football. It's not our job to babysit you. Watch it.
Or is it?
But we're going to get
We
into
don't know.
predictions for the upcoming week. Here we go. Thursday night, the Buccaneers, the Falcons, Baker coming off a big win. Who do you got, Blake?
Falcons.
Who do you got, Ben?
No. It's not the Falcons by any means. It's my boy Baker. I miss you. Please come back.
I am going to go with the Buccaneers as well. And then we got Jets Vikings. I personally have the Vikings keep on rolling. Justin Jefferson, big game. Who do you got,
My
Blake?
boy.
I think I'm going to take the Vikings as well.
Ben?
I think you would be crazy to not think the Vikings are going to absolutely just run away with it.
And then starting off our 1 p.m. games, we have the Panthers and the Bears. Blake,
I'm going Panthers. I think Andy Dalton is the third straight good week.
I'm
they're
going
gonna do it.
Panthers as well because I'm still on Caleb Williams' bus patrol. Ben,
Caleb Williams is going to make you all think that you have no idea what's happening. Duh, Bears. Let's go.
Browns and Commanders. I've got Jaden Williams continuing to tell the NFL that I am the rookie of the year. Blake,
I got Commanders too.
Ben,
Do I have to say anything?
it's the Browns, isn't it?
Do
Next game, Dolphins and Patriots. I don't even want to say it. Patriots are gonna win. They're at home. They're gonna win. Ben,
I just want to go against you just for the sake of it because I like hearing the Patriots lose.
I love the Dolphins, so good. I'm glad.
Dolphins, baby.
Blake,
Dolphins too.
good.
Let's go.
I hope you guys are right. And then we have Colts and Jaguars. Yeah, it's the Colts. No matter who plays, it's the Colts. It could be Ben DiNucci and it would be the Colts.
If it was Ben DiNucci could beat any team in the NFL. But no, the Colts are winning until something drastically changes. No, it's the Colts.
Who do you got, Blake?
I didn't even hear you.
Oh, the Colts and the Jaguars.
I think Jaguars get their first win.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
figure it out.
I can't even handle that. Moving on. Bills and Texans. Blake, make up for it. Make up for the last pick.
Ooh, that's a good game.
It is a good game.
Man, I don't know. Who's at home?
Texans.
I'm gonna go Texans.
Ben?
I think this game absolutely will be a shootout, but the fact that it's home game for them and my boy CJ, I think they're taking it.
That's going to be 3 for 3 altogether because Nico's going to have a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I think it's, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah. Moving on. Ravens and Bengals. I'm sorry, Bengals fans. It's the Ravens. Who do you have, Blake?
I got the Ravens. I don't think
you
the Bengals
do.
have an answer for their run game right now.
Ben? We all know.
It's our boy Slim Shady coming out of retirement, deciding, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be good at this game. We're going to smack the Ravens. Let's go, Bengals. That's the only time you're going to hear that coming from me.
Jamar's covered in baby oil. Moving on. Okay, well, that was it. That was it, everybody. That right there makes it explicit. Moving on. Raiders and Broncos. I don't know if he's still starting, but even if he's on the bench, Minshew Mania. Raiders win. Who do you got, Ben?
Bo Nix is pulling it out. My boy, is coming back after a strong 10-9 win. We're going for it again. We're going to start with a great negative half, and then we're going to come back and have 30 yards. We're going to win it all. Let's go, Broncos.
I got Broncos too.
Let's go.
The Raiders and Gardner Minshew in particular are going to make Devontae wish he didn't request a trade. Moving on, Cardinals and 49ers, I have Brock Purdy leading them to a win. Sorry, Cardinals. Blake.
I got 49ers too. I do think it'll be a high-scoring, close game.
That'll be a nice change. Ben.
As much as my gut tells me it's going to be the 49ers, and that should be the obvious answer, I feel like our boy Marvin fucking Harrison Jr. is going to get so many goddamn Hail Marys thrown at him that he's going to pull it out of his ass, and Arizona's going to come back. And I'm just hoping I'm not wrong.
Moving on to what's probably going to be a one-sided game, Giants and Seahawks. I've got Geno killing it. Who do you have, Ben?
The Giants are not a real team. Daniel Jones is not a real quarterback. If the Seahawks win this, no one's going to be shocked.
I got Seahawks as well. I really don't think the Giants are anything without Malik Neighbors, and I think he's still out with a concussion. So,
Packers and Rams. I'm gonna let bias ride. I want the Rams to win. I think the Rams are gonna win. Blake.
I think Packers. I mean, Jordan Love has actually been really good. Really good.
He has.
He had a bunch of interceptions last game, but he also had 4 touchdowns and a lot of yards. And the Rams secondary is non-existent right now. I think the Packers get this one.
The words have been cooked down. They've become easier to eat. I guess I'm eating them. Ben.
Love is my boy. I am a huge fan of any quarterback that will just say, fuck it, sling it, let's go. Shout outs to the OG days. Rex Grossman, we miss you. Please come back. I love seeing quarterbacks just absolutely wing it. Packers win.
And to that, I'm going to say, hey, Peyton, come back. Let's beat Rex Grossman in another Super Bowl.
Don't remind me.
Sunday night, oh boy. Cowboys and Steelers.
An easy one.
That's
an easy one.
As much as I want to say Cowboys, Steelers are going to win. Ah, that hurts at home. Ben, who do you got?
Steelers don't exist, and Pittsburgh sucks, so let's go Dallas.
I certainly hope so. Blake, who do you have?
I think Dallas will pull this one out. I don't think it'll be a super high-scoring game, but I do think Dallas wins.
And Monday, we have the Saints going to Kansas City and battling Kermit Mahomes. I think the Saints bounce back. Who do you have, Ben?
Kansas City, Taylor Swift, the buff is too strong. Even though they've lost players, Mahomes isn't having the greatest season of his life. It's still Kansas City.
Blake, who do you got, man? I hope you say Saints.
I think the Chiefs are going to lose soon, but I don't think it's going to be to the Saints.
Damn. All right.
Like I said, they are off, but I think they'll
probably
still
right.
I like Mahomes. I don't like Kelsey, though.
Before we sign off, folks, leaving it just we're just gonna leave Ben with some thoughts for a minute. Baby Gronk, next MVP. All right, finishing up, everybody, because it is 12:05 in the AM here in Maine. This is Backfield Breakdown. I hope that you have all enjoyed the debauchery this evening. In the comments, I'd like you to leave a number. How many has Justin had to drink tonight? Leave a comment below. Other than that, follow Ben on Twitter. If you could just move the phone out just like a little bit, and then maybe like, oh, we're almost there. It's Ben Baker on Twitter. I'm sure you guys
It's
can
Ben
find it.
X Baker on Twitter.
If you're on YouTube, link tree down below. I closed up the Discord because I was lonely and none of you were being my friend. Other than that, I hope you all have a great evening. Drink some water. Let's tailgate.